Hey guys, Ron here, and 2 weeks ago I released a video in which I finally made starter Pokemon for a fan-made region I'm beginning to develop. In that video, I explained the themes and origins of the starter families I want to create, and then went on to design the basic stage partner Pokemon. A grass elephant, a fire calf, and a water dolphin. I mean, what else would it be? It wouldn't be a fire dolphin. You kinda need to have watched that video to understand the development of these lines and the evolved forms of these Pokemon, so make sure to click here if you haven't already seen that video. If you got this far, you've either watched that video or don't care about these adorable little creatures enough to understand their stories. Regardless, it's time to make the middle stage starters. They're going through their teenage years, so like most middle stage starters, they're a little awkward, but the whole point is that you have their backs and they'll have yours, and once they're fully evolved in the next video, you'll be best friends forever. Let's go. So in the last video we made Elephant, a carefree grass pachyderm that likes to help around and plant seeds. This line is based on, well, elephants, but since all three starter families are going to be based on real-world deities, this family has elements inspired by the world elephant. And while Elephant's family members are African elephants, as you see here, they have Indian themes and some Ganesha-inspired aspects. The final evolution will have mammoth vibes, but our middle starter is still an African elephant. It'll be more rowdy and wild, and it's going to be dual-typed, and its design will reflect that. But most importantly, our starter families and the way our starters are going to evolve represent some sort of relationship with humans and how these Pokemon deal with humanity's treatment of the environment. Each starter is responsible for some kind of domain. For example, our grass line cultivates wild forests and fields. Our fire line cultivates agriculture, and our water line deals with ocean life. The personality and powers of our evolved starters will be influenced by how they deal with humanity's involvement with the individual environments that these Pokemon protect. So how does our grass line deal with human intervention? Well, let's begin. So the progression of this line's body is going to be pretty consistent. The pre-evolved form has one tiny hump on its back, and this one will have a hill. The final Evo will have a full-on mountain. His head will be longer, the sprouts on his head is like a mohawk bush, and its ears are heavier so they drop more downwards, but are covered in vegetation. The moss on its back has become full-on overgrowth. Since his hump will eventually be a mountain in the final form, I was experimenting with jagged rocks coming out of its back, and I know I want its feet to be covered in hardened rock as well, but let's make the design more interesting, and the seeds that were on Elephant have become berries. Growing tusks are important. I think they will become rock tusks in the final evolution, but I don't know. And then I decided to give it two hills, since one hill looked too similar to the back of its pre-evolved form, and I was thinking that they looked a bit too similar before then, so I changed it up a bit. The tail is basically a bush now, and I'm finally adding more design elements. In the final design, I balanced out these elements a bit more. And there you have it. Elephant has evolved into Mustrunk, the overgrowth Pokemon. From trunk, the nose of an elephant, but also the trunk of a tree, and must, the periodic condition in male elephants where they are aggressive and looking for a mate. It's a grass rock type. Mustrunks are overzealous and confident. They will try to plant and water as much vegetation as possible. Due to deforestation, Mustrunk has resolved to plant trees at a faster rate than humans are able to tear them down. It will sometimes plant trees on human property to spite humans who have torn down the trees it has planted. After all, it never forgets those who have harmed it or its sprouts. Mustrunks are able to be trained by those with strong wills. While often aggressive, it will listen to those it trusts. Keep in mind that the plants that Mustrunk cultivates grow faster and taller than plants that it hasn't personally tended to. With its mastery of minerals, it can create new slabs of rock and soil to grow new plants on. It overworks itself, but the closer it gets to its final evolution, the more a wild Mustrunk will realize that its strategy isn't perfect. Those who live with trainers will put all their effort into battling instead, which is a great outlet for their pent-up emotions. I love how the design came out. The colors on it are beautiful, and it definitely looks like an older elephant. Since it's now pretty explicit that this Pokemon is going to turn into a mammoth-like rock-type starter, I wanted to be clear that I envisioned the second stage to look like a statue with overgrowth on it. I always love seeing plants on rocks. Green, orange, and gray is also my favorite color combination. It's a combination of my favorite color, my least favorite color, and the most neutral value that makes things so harmonious and balanced to me. Although my least favorite color is slowly becoming yellow. Here's the shiny, by the way. Always love giving autumn versions of grass-type Pokemon. I can't wait to finally design the final evolution too. Let me know if you're still on Team Elephant. So let's move on to Smokecalf's evolution. Now, Smokecalf is a modest and bashful little calf. It's based on various holy cows that are worshipped, like Apis from Egyptian mythology, and Aditi from Hinduism, and the red heifer from Judaism. But now it's time to go into the main inspirations of this line. the Highland cattle, and Appies. So it'll start to look Egyptian and have the hair of a Highland cattle mixed in with an emo-looking teen haircut. Its pre-evolved form is basically a priest in training. It is constantly looked after by humans, so by the time it evolves, it's slightly spoiled and lazy. Because it's constantly doted on by humans, it's kind of rebellious. It wants to be left alone, but still appreciates the easy life that humans give it. These are the vibes that our design is gonna have. So I kind of started drawing this Pokemon during a storm, so the power went out and I lost the first 10 minutes of footage, so we're just starting from this point of the process after I've already made the face. I want to finally give it that Egyptian eyeliner look, which also goes together with that emo aesthetic this dude will have. The challenge is making the hair go down and up at the same time, because it's no secret that the final evolution will have fire on its head, so I want the hair to resemble a Highland cattle's hair, as well as a flame on top. It will go through many iterations. I finally decided to give this Pokemon a scarf with a fire-like flow to it. It'll eventually become an ornate, royal-looking neck piece on its final evolution. Its arms are way more sturdy, as well as its entire upper body, and its tail is always on fire. This is pretty much the idea, but now it's time to refine it. I'm giving it hooves with fire-like fur on the top. It was way longer before, now it's a bit smaller. I want to save more room to grow for its evolution, adding more ornate jewelry, because of course this Pokemon is treated like royalty. But as you'll see, I finalized the hair, eyes, and flame off screen. And there you go. Smokehalf evolves into the pure fire-type cattle Pokemon, Agnite, from Agni, which is Sanskrit for fire, ignite, and night, the time of day these Pokemon are brightest, and night with a K, since various societies rely on these Pokemon. Because this Pokemon's evolved form is so crucial to the agriculture of various civilizations, this Pokemon has been spoiled by farmers for centuries. As a result of human worship, this Pokemon has become vain and lazy. It's able to raise the temperature of anything just by looking at it. It does fear accidentally igniting objects with its pyrokinesis though. As a result, it becomes nervous when others are around. Deep down, it still wants to be recognized for its true talents, so it practices pyrokinesis every day. Those trained in battle are more respectful and disciplined. Its fur is fire resistant too. The hair on its head will often combust when it's overcome with emotion. By now, you're noticing that when not handled by a Pokemon trainer, our starter middle stage evolutions become a bit distant from humans, either emotionally or physically. Generally, because of relatively negative human intervention, whether intentional or not, they become somewhat resentful in this stage of their life. But when in the hands of Pokemon trainers, they are more emotionally healthy. This Pokemon was the one I had the hardest time designing, because I was worried it would look too edgy and was hoping everybody would still understand that the hair is a reference to Highland cattle hair, instead of just me making it look emo because it's the teenage stage. But now I think it may become a fan favorite of the three. Here's the shiny version. It's a slight allusion to the evolved form. Its final evolution will be the most controversial though, since it will be standing up. But it will make total sense and it will be dual typed, so stay tuned for that. Now it's dolphin time. Our little water starter, Dolflo, was an intelligent but super social and kind creature. It loves humans and playing around. Dolflo's family is slightly inspired by the dolphins that are tied to gods like Poseidon. But it's also based on the whaling industry in places like Japan, and I can't show that, that's a little too gory. The evolved form of Dolflo will be a little less trusting of humans because of that. Not full-on hateful, just incredibly intelligent. It slightly looks down on humans, both for their cruelty to their species, but also because of the pollution of the seas. You know, that thing, that's a big deal. It won't be cute anymore, so let's do this. I mean, in terms of shape, it's literally just a longer Dolflo, but you'll see that I'll be constantly changing the length so it's not as long as the final evolution. It'll stand more upright and will have a brow because this thing isn't adorable anymore. Instead of an exposed blowhole, we have this fin coming out of it, but it's actually a mixture of water and psychic energy. This Pokemon is finally dual typed. Its eyes are tough to design since I don't know how much I want them to resemble real dolphin eyes. I'm gonna give it an extra tail. It may look weird now, but it'll make sense when it's fully evolved. I put one fin on its side since it's just judging you, and the other one is scratching its head, but also touching its temple, which is common for psychics to do. Its patterns are going to be more psychedelic since it's actually what its color scheme will be inspired by. The patterns on some dolphins and also the colors of 70s designs. I made it less angry since its evolved form is pissed. This one is just a bit snobby. I made it way shorter and gave it a star-shaped scar-like design on its belly. You see, it has two meanings. First, it's a psychic Pokemon with metaphysical powers, and stars and even dolphins in general are associated with supernatural or cosmic energy. But most importantly, it will have a scar because it's very common for large sea creatures in Japanese media, like Sharpedo, to have these scars on them to indicate that they have been hunted or in battles. This Pokemon isn't innocent anymore, like its pre-evolved form, so it don't trust like that. Its evolved form is gonna be even more badass with tons of patterns. And there you have it. Dolflo evolves into the water psychic type, Mentidal, from mental Kanto, and Tidal. It's known as the Psychic Wave Pokemon. Having learned about all the injustices that its species has endured and the ocean pollution caused by humans, Mentidal has become less trusting. It uses psychic bubbles to collect trash and toss it back onto land. It is very egotistical and cynical. Mentidal will rarely put their faith in others, but as a result, it isn't very disappointed when those around it fail. Mentidals who are under the care of a trainer will revive their trust in humans. They're able to create large waves with their mind and can torpedo through water using telekinesis. They will jump up from the water and stay mid-air to breathe in as much air as possible. The most skilled Mentidal are able to stay hydrated on land by psychically applying moisture to their skin. The purple fins coming out of their tail and blowhole are a mixture of water and psychic energy. Here's the shiny. I hope people are not too annoyed that I turned their cute boy into an uninviting looking creature, but it's all part of the plan. The evolved form is pretty aggressive, and its psychic fins will flow in the wind. And just like people want, its evolved form will have a weapon, just like how people anticipate final water starters to have. I like how it's kind of wearing a leotard like Danny Sexbang from NSP, which is cool because Danny does like dolphins, but that's enough of that tangent. I hope you're looking forward to the final evolutions. All the stats, abilities, types, and themes will finally be revealed. Keep in mind that I'm posting sneak peeks on Twitter, so follow that. Like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe and press the bell to know when part 3 is finally out, and follow me on Instagram to see full art of these Pokemon. Check the description for all the music I used, the t-shirts I made for you guys, and my Patreon to get cool rewards like seeing my videos days early. Press the join button for even more rewards as well. I'll see you guys very soon.